Hi, good evening. I'm Andy from MediBlock. Thank
Hello.
you so much for making it to this interview tonight. People visit an average of 18.4 doctors in their
I mean,
lifetime.
how do they expect us to keep track of all our own health data anyway?
Well, you don't. 40 to 80% of medical information given by physicians is actually forgotten almost immediately. And additionally, even the information that they do remember, half of that information is actually incorrect.
That's what happened was I actually developed a steroid-induced skin allergy. It's because I failed to mention my medical history to my doctor. And it could have saved me a lot of time and money if I'd known otherwise.
Well, you're not alone in that regard. Okay, there are actually about 200,000 deaths per year in the US alone that are caused by otherwise preventable medical error. The problems don't stop there though. With the current COVID-19 crisis, more people are now afraid to visit hospitals with the fear of contracting the virus.
It's hard for us doctors too. And this becomes a problem with patient care because when the patients are displaying the symptoms, they often avoid the hospital. And when that happens, it's usually too late for us to make a diagnosis and too late to save their lives if we have to. Another issue is that when we do get them in, it's too late and we can't make a proper diagnosis because the data we have are so disorganized or incomplete.
And with this, there's clearly a bigger need for an accessible and universal platform for information sharing between patients and physicians. But where can we find this? Introducing MediBlock, a cross-platform application that leverages the Amazon managed blockchain and Amazon Tech web services to create a secure way of storing, accessing, and sharing the electronic health records of patients. Let's see how the end-to-end process of exchanging information is streamlined by MediBlock.
Hi, I'm Jane Doe, a new MediBlock user. Upon registering for an account, a profile page has been created for me which contains my contact details as well as my activity feed and health data. Latter provides me with a really convenient way to keep myself on track. I can link these to my IoT devices like my Apple Watch or Fitbit so I can always monitor my activity, measurements, and general well-being. Here on the Explore page, I can discover and connect with physicians within my area depending on my medical needs. As a patient, I can also add my past and present doctors into my social networks so that I can easily communicate with them. Lately, I've been experiencing some rapidly intensifying pain in the upper right portion of my abdomen. I'll navigate to the EHR tab, wherein I can find a digital copy of my medical history. As you can see, I have my last checkup with my general practitioner logged into this timeline. A quick review of the additional information under this entry reveals that my GP, Dr. John Smith, has referred me to Dr. Emily Williams, a certified gastroenterologist, since he suspects that I may be suffering from gallstones. I can check Dr. Williams' profile page to view her contact details and remotely schedule a consultation with her.
I'm Dr. Emily Williams, a registered physician on the MediBlock platform. I, like many of my peers in the healthcare industry, have been using this application as a secure database management system and as a collaboration tool. One of the features that enable me to deliver the best service to my patients is this performance analytics dashboard on my profile page. Some key metrics that help determine the quality of care I administer include my inbound and outbound referrals, a list of my top services, and the number of patients I treat within a given time frame. Oh, it looks like I've just received a notification from Miss Jane Doe asking for a consultation. I'll assess her situation and check her profile to get a clear view of her condition. In order to get a more accurate and informed diagnosis, I'll need to access her previous physical examination with Dr. Smith. However, seeing as I don't have any inherent access to her private information, I'll go ahead and request that using this button on her profile.
Oh, I just got an alert from Dr. Williams. It looks like she needs access to the results of my last consultation with Dr. Smith. I'll grant her access to that once I have validated her request.
I've just received an alert from Jane notifying me that my request has been approved. And just like that, I can now examine the medical data I asked for in order to figure out the best way to proceed. Jane has also given me the appropriate authorization as her doctor to update her EHR with new information as needed.
With Amazon Managed Blockchain, MediBlock has established a decentralized system of records that reduces the inefficiencies and overheads typically associated with managing and accessing patients' health records. A Hyperledger Fabric framework was used to create and maintain this scalable blockchain solution. Each member in the network, patient or physician, has a corresponding enrollment certificate secured through the AWS Key Management Service technology. Arbitrary logic, or smart contracts, can be added to simplify the consent agreement between patients and doctors. And temporary access can also be granted through tokens created by users and passed on to their healthcare providers and perhaps even insurance companies. The token is independent of the data, containing only authorization commands. The user interface calls a RESTful API that is connected to the network through the Hyperledger Fabric Client SDK, and each account has an associated client node that can communicate with the Fabric network via a private link connection. The Node.js chain code that can query and update the ledger is then executed within a Docker container on peer nodes. First, it initializes the ledger. The invoke operation is used for methods that enable the CRUD functionality of the application itself. This sends a transaction proposal to a peer node to simulate the transaction, package it into a read-write set, and digitally sign it with their own private key. This gets sent back for validation before it can be fully applied to the key value store. These protocols are what facilitate such secure, efficient, and cryptographically verifiable way of transacting medical data. In other words, a new block in the immutable blockchain ledger, which in this case are the patient's EHRs, is instantiated every time new information is obtained from their respective physicians. Let's see this in action.
This is Dr. Williams again, and I'm happy to report that we have successfully operated on Jane to remove her gallstones. Post-consultation, I can now input a summary of the session along with some supplementary attachments to be added into her EHR. These attachments may include radiology images, CAT scans, or other paper-based documents. I have the choice to manually input the results or alternatively let MediBlock handle it for me. Take this prescription note for example. All I have to do is upload a scanned copy of my post-operative care notes and confirm that the data it reads is correct.
MediBlock has integrated a powerful OCR tool into its online platform. This is where Amazon TextTrack comes into play. The pre-processed documents are initially stored in an S3 bucket. Every upload triggers a Lambda function that runs TextTrack. As you might expect, it extracts the text and identifies relationships between the different fields in each file. Smart search indexes can also be gleaned from structured data in order to filter through their patients' medical records quickly. Human review workflows enabled by Amazon Augmented AI will ensure that the sensitive data being extracted is correct and complete according to the doctor's standards, especially when it falls below the set confidence threshold.
Simple tasks that used to take weeks to accomplish now only takes a few minutes at most. Time is not a luxury that we can afford when it comes to safeguarding the health of our patients. Following the tedious manual procedures that MediBlock sought to eliminate would have put Jane at risk of developing pancreatitis. And the longer we wait, the more the likelihood of her incurring gallbladder cancer increases.
I just got a notification on my account saying that my EHR has been updated. Let's check it out. According to Dr. Williams, I need to take some of these antibiotics in order to avoid infection. Attached along with this report are the pictures of my CAT scan. Seeing as I'm still recovering from the surgery I recently underwent, I'm glad I didn't have to return to the hospital just to get my prescription. It looks like my health data on my dashboard has also been updated accordingly. Thanks to MediBlock, I now have full control of my personal data. MediBlock provides the right care right here.
As for our future community and corporate partners out there, MediBlock is not only an amazing solution to the existing problems in the healthcare system today, but it is also a feasible one. The scalability of our application increases with the help of Amazon Web Services by reducing the need to incur large fixed costs, like those associated with data storage. Also, the distributed nature of blockchain gives an inherent advantage to the addition of nodes as user traffic increases, which is definitely important when scaling the app to accommodate an increasing number of medical centers. As for tapping our target market, our goal is to not only assist healthcare centers in creating an effective communication system between physicians and patients, but to also reduce unnecessary costs in their current setup. In terms of revenue stream, we aim to establish a freemium, subscription-based business model to create a continuous cash flow in the business. This helps our partners implement the system steadily without having to spend all the big bucks in one go. MediBlock addresses the concern of finding affordable, doable, and efficient solutions on how to promote better communication between patients and physicians. It does this in three ways. Bridging the communication gap between patients and physicians, optimizing the current process of sending and receiving medical updates, and lastly, minimizing the risk of contracting COVID-19 from return visits. But it doesn't end there. MediBlock also raises the security standards of healthcare through the encryption and untamperable nature of blockchain technology. MediBlock offers a user-oriented experience by establishing a better healthcare database management system that allows users to securely and conveniently access their own EHR. It removes the hassle of having to memorize and recall the patient's medical history and avoids possible misinformation. If used nationally, it can bring about proper and complete data analysis on the healthcare situation here in the Philippines. With that, MediBlock has made a great leap towards electronic healthcare in an industry full of inefficiencies drawn out by manual processes. In the future, we hope to stand at the forefront of development at every medical center here in the Philippines. MediBlock provides the right care right here.